They're doing an extra start for throwing right. Calm down.
All right, welcome to Lap Podcast, episode 8. We have a very special guest, social media superstar, Valorant TikTok editor, social media manager.
What's
And
up?
my
My name's
roommate.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
Armand. How do you like to be referred to? By your gamer tag or your Govy? Because I call you Armand, but a lot of people in your life call you Naru.
I think that so I prefer Naru, and the reason why I prefer Naru is actually because Armand is actually like a slight mispronunciation. So it's actually Mun, like Monday, or like money. It's like Armand. But like I don't like correcting people.
Damn, I've just gentrified your name
Yeah.
for so long.
No, but it's like all throughout elementary school, people always called me Armin. Because when I was a
okay.
kid, I was too shy to like correct people.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, fuck. So Naru was like my great reset.
Okay, Naru.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's like half and half.
Yeah.
I feel like half the people just call you Naru.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
is your game handle.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for
wait.
joining us. Yeah.
Speaking of.
Oh, wait. Turn all the way around. 180. Damn. Got the Riot. Now, okay. This is a regular podcast, I swear. We ain't doing nothing extra.
Oh shit.
Behind the scenes, he will take his shirt off, though. But yeah, I mean, obviously, based on your jacket, you manage the Valorant TikTok for Riot currently. You used to edit and probably still have some clients. Oh, you do have some clients, I know for a fact, that still work in the gaming space, that are used to be pros, former pros in the esports scene. So, it's funny. I was talking to Ryan earlier where, like, some of the guests we have on, like, specifically, like, the Buwan episode where, like, I wasn't there at the very beginning of his career. I kind of met him, like, later on. But, like, guys like Ethan, guys like you, like, I was there at your genesis, basically, you know what I'm saying? Like, being down bad at Dan's birthday, just sitting around the table and just being like, yo, I'm lost. And then we were sitting down having that conversation. What's crazy is after that conversation, you completely turned around. Like, you were on your shit right after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, like, saying that you were there at my genesis is an understatement. I would say you were more of like a catalyst.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because that conversation that we had was like, that was like the pivotal moment basically in my career when I was like, okay, I feel like I have all these like skills and dreams and this is like my position, but I have no direction and like what to take it or like where to take it. And then that was like what you helped with. So.
Well, I mean, I appreciate the kind words, but I remember at the time, it was like 2-3 summers ago.
Yeah, that was 2021.
Right after COVID.
Yeah,
After COVID,
yeah.
right.
Dan's
And then
birthday in July.
Dan's birthday, and then we were all just drunk, and I was definitely cross.
Yeah.
We were just sitting at the table, and it was like late at night, and you were just like, yo, like, what do I do? You know?
Yeah. I don't. Do you even remember like what I was down bad about? I think like
it's just life in general.
I think it was life in general for sure. Because I was like, okay, there's a position I was in is like I just dropped out, haven't told my parents yet. The only like I guess like thing that I'm pursuing is like trying to grow my stream on Twitch and trying to grow my TikTok page, and then yeah. I just remember like one of the main takeaways from that conversation was that I should reach out to other creators and try to make it more of like a collaborative growth than like trying to just grow completely on my own.
Right. And then I think stemming from that conversation, you like were more committed to like actually trying to make monetary gains. It's just like sustain yourself,
Okay.
so you can do it for a living.
Yeah.
And a big one was like you started actually taking clients, which like a big break for you was Tiffy, right?
Yeah.
Is that public knowledge that you edited for Tiffy?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I feel like, I mean, this is a pretty common thing that happens in this industry is like you have a break, which is like someone within the industry that's somewhat big enough and will like help you like build your platform or use their platform to get you off the ground. And then using that Tiffy client, you're able to like gain a lot of other social media clients. And then from there, you built yourself up to being hired at Riot, right? Kind of talk me through like that whole process.
Okay. So, yeah, like you said, Tiffy, first client. The way that one worked out also is like when I was just like a Twitch chatter, like before I like edited any videos or anything. Like, this is when I was still working in software. I had like a co-op And every morning we have a meeting at like 9 a.m. And I would wake up like 10 minutes before my meeting, and I would have like nothing to do because I was working from home. This is COVID, so I would just like watch Tiffany's stream. I was like a active member of like the Tiffany community.
Oh, I didn't know that actually.
Or like I would chat
in
the stream, yeah. And like to a point where like I remember one time I was like eating my breakfast, watching Tiffany's stream, and then I got a message on Teams, like Microsoft Teams, from my boss, like, hey guys, like, you know, we don't really have anything to talk about. This morning's meeting is canceled. And then Tiffany is like, hey guys, does anyone in chat want to play? And then like I ended up like playing with her too.
Oh.
So you're like we had like a little bit of familiarity.
So like you've had an actual interaction before.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I started posting my TikToks in January 2021, some of them went viral, and then she commented on them. She was like, "Oh, Naru, you're on my For You page." So then I think we had that like kind of like report. So then when Tiffany like tweeted like, hey, I'm looking for an editor, I still have like all the screenshots, by the way, if you guys want to like insert it, but I responded to a tweet where she was like, I need like a TikTok editor, and I was like, Pog, I got you. That's literally like word for word what I said.
And then right away.
No, it wasn't right away though. So what happened was I think Tiffany didn't really like my editing because my editing was kind of shit.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because like I didn't know how to add in like nice fonts. I didn't know how to like make things like pretty, whatever. And so she found like an editor, and I think what happened was like that editor was like inconsistent. They like weren't meeting deadlines or like weren't like cooperative or whatever. So then she was like, okay, now like I'm willing to like give you a chance. And then I was
someone else's fuck up.
Exactly. So it was like a thin little window I found. So then took that, started editing for Tiffany. Videos like were popping off like from the get-go. I think that's like one thing I attribute a lot of like my, I guess, knowledge or my initial like foundation to, is that like Tiffany really understood what it took to be a content creator on social media and forced me to like basically apply all of her learnings into the videos that I would edit. So it's like everything from like formatting to storytelling to hook to like adding in more effects and stuff like that. Like that was all like Tiffany like basically like telling me what to do, and then for me just like executing it. And I think from that like I kind of like developed like an idea in my head of like what it takes to make good content.
So she's a really good example of like this is someone that like has the right mentality and knows exactly what she wants in terms of how to grow on social media.
Yeah.
And then that was a really good opportunity for you to also
learn,
understand and learn, and then you apply that to future people. Even you know, it's crazy because like I think specifically with esports pros, you're just a gamer, you know, like you don't really think about growing or like streaming and things like that. You just do it, and then you have an audience naturally because you're good at the game. Yeah. But then some of them don't actually understand how to grow on social media or don't understand the value of it. And so for someone like you to step in and be like, hey, like, this is how you do it, and then you show and you actually grow, like show tangible growth for their social media is like pretty big as well.
Exactly. Which brings me to my second client ever, which was Curry. And I was like looking back recently. I don't know what it was. Actually I do. So I think like last week or the week before, I did a presentation at TMU where I was just talking about like my career. And before my presentation, I was like going through all my old like Twitter DMs and like my tweets to see like how exactly I reached out to people. So I also found the one where I reached out to Curry. And what happened was, I think Curry just straight up posted one of his clips that he hit on TikTok. No editing. It was still like in widescreen. And then I just replied to the tweet because he linked the TikTok in a tweet. And he's like, all right, guys, go follow my TikTok. I was like, yo, do you need someone to like reformat your stuff so it's like, you know, for like fit for vertical content? And he was like, yeah, we could do that. So I started working with him. But then obviously like he just gave me a lot. So unlike Tiffany, he gave me a lot of control. So now I was the one that's like coming up with the ideas. So now I was making videos about like, you know, how he's playing the game. So it's like, oh, how rank 1 uses his utility. But then I was also making videos of like him raging, like videos of him just like fucking trolling, just
like funny reaction stuff.
Yeah, funny reactions, whatever. So that was like, so now it's like I had my learnings from Tiffany, and I was given free reign with Curry's channel, but still like a bit of a platform and like an abundance of like content to work with because he was streaming like long hours, and it's like now it's like me figuring out like, okay,
you have more creative control, and then now your actual success is dependent on your own ideas.
Exactly. And I think that was like what helped me like hone my abilities a bit more. And then from Curry, I reached out to Nosy, and I was like, hey, I edit for Tiffany and Curry. This is like, you know, what their viewership looks like. I'd love to edit for you too. And basically that was like my formula for reaching out to everyone after. It was just like, here's who I work with already.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing with TikTok editing, right? Especially when you're editing for people within the same niche, is if I tell you I edit for Plu, right? Like, you know that you've seen Plu TikToks on your For You page, right? And if you haven't, then it's like, okay, maybe I'm not good enough to work with you. Hopefully, like, the stats and like or the other clients can help. But like, if you've already seen Plu TikToks on your For You page like all the time, then it's like that tells you everything you need to know. So now like, I don't know, like the way I guess like the way I interpret it is that they probably like think to themselves like, oh shit, like I always see Plu TikToks.
Right. Like you don't. They might not have actually like understood what you did in that edit. The fact that they seen it is like a sign of success.
Exactly, because what it tells them is that like if I work with this guy, then I'm also gonna be on everyone's For You page. So
yeah, and I mean, obviously transitioning from like you're getting more and more clients because of your start with Tefei, and then transitioning to who do you think is like your most popular client?
My most popular client?
Yeah. Not that you currently are editing for, but like you previously have worked for.
I think probably Tarik.
Tarik?
Yeah. Or like Tarik, Riot, and then I actually did a 1 month thing. Like, not many people know this, but I actually did a 1 month thing for Redbull Gaming as well.
Oh.
Yeah. And if you look at Redbull Gaming's TikTok page, the most viral TikTok they have on their platform, or like not viral, like most viewed, is the one I edited. Yeah. So I think I made like 6 videos for them or something, and then and then like when I was working with them, then that was when Riot reached out to me.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So like, explain how like that sort of went down. Like who connected who?
Okay. So here's the crazy thing. So my 3 biggest clients, Tarik, Redbull, and Riot, I actually didn't reach out to any of them. All 3 of those clients came to me, which is kind of my biggest.
That's actually crazy.
I know.
That feels good.
Like that felt good. Yeah. I was thinking about that on my car ride here. I was like, it's like, damn, I actually didn't reach out to those clients. Those clients reached out to me. But yeah, so it started off with sorry, this is like kind of like a funny full circle story, but like we just hired someone at Riot to manage the League of Legends TikTok channel. And that guy's name is Kevin Chang, or like Changvin. He's also like on social media too. And I remember like when that guy, like I saw that he got hired at an esports org like Energy, and I was like, damn, like people are getting full-time jobs like out of this like gaming content creation type like skill set and career. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just like in my room, because at this point I'm still editing on my PC too. I'm literally in my room 12 hours a day editing like 10 TikToks for like different like streamers. I'm like, I want a full-time job. I want like stable income. I want like normal work hours where it's like, you know, just like 9 to 5 every day, and I have weekends off and like everything, and like, you know, like a little bit of prestige comes with it too. And that was when I was like, okay, I'm gonna start applying to like esports orgs. So this is like March 2022.
Okay,
I've been
so
editing
last year.
Yeah, no, 2 years ago.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's 2024.
Yeah. So March 2022, I start working on my resume, and then I just start applying to like all these esports orgs, like 100 Thieves, version 1, Rise. Dude, with Rise, I even like took it an extra step further, because I like looked through their website and I found so many mistakes. I like wrote them an email with my application. I was like, by the way, like just to show like, you know, that I have an eye for this stuff, like here's a bunch of shit that I found wrong with your website.
Yeah.
And I like pointed out to them.
It'd be funny if they didn't hire you, but they fixed it all.
Yeah, that'd be funny actually.
Wait, you know what's also crazy? Side note, it's like some of the orgs you notice or you mentioned like don't exist fully in the esports space anymore.
Yeah.
And that's only 2 years ago.
I know.
That's kind of crazy.
That's the thing with esports. Like low-key was a blessing in disguise that they all rejected me, because like I would probably have gone through like at least one layoff by now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the esports winter is very strong right now, where you can definitely feel that. It feels like a correction, or maybe just like the economic situation right now is just like, I feel like
It's tough.
they promised too much growth, or like they predicted a lot of growth within over the next last 5 years, and then like bam, it's just like, it seems like, I mean, you see the headlines, it's like Riot themselves are cutting, Blizzard's cutting, everyone in esports orgs, some of them just like completely dropped esports in general.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's a very different space and landscape right now.
Yeah. So any esports org owners that are trying to be on the next lab episode, come share everything you know.
There's only one esports org based out of Toronto.
Toronto Defiant or Toronto Ultra? COD and Overwatch.
So so that's the same ownership group.
Oh.
Ultra, and which is in Call of Duty, and then Defiant, which formerly in Overwatch.
Yeah.
I don't know what actual org, because they're not a traditional esports org. They're not like a C9.
Oh, they're not.
That got renamed into something else, like in Overwatch, or Call of Duty, like they were just like some org in Toronto. I think they're linked to MSC, which is like the ownership group that owns Raptors and Maple Leafs, like
Oh,
the
what?
conglomerate.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know if they're actually linked to
Yeah.
them or not, but it would make sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I know like the Guard was owned by like Kroenke, and then
Yeah.
they own like what, like Arsenal or something.
Yeah, yeah.
It's, like,
I think
crazy.
Bell also has a really big investment in that Toronto esports or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we get here?
You were talking about how those clients
full-time
reached out
job.
to-
Yeah. So I started applying for full-time jobs. It's like March. At this point I've grown like some big creators. Like I think at this point I still hadn't started working with Tarik, but I started working with Plu, and I grew Plu from like I think like 240,000 followers to like over 300K, and then like Plu's videos were like popping.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The right after pandemic or during pandemic, it was
Yeah.
like going
Yeah.
crazy.
Especially when Prod went viral for his like insane like ADHD jet gameplay. Everyone's trying to play like Prod, and then like all the big streamers are like, oh, Prod. All the big YouTubers like I think like there was a really viral clip of like Sinatra like reacting to like Prod's gameplay, and they started playing together, and then Plu and Prod it's like a fucking tongue twister. Plu and Prod start playing together.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, oh my God, they're dating. They like posted a picture of like them eating lunch together one time, and everyone was like losing their shit, right? I was milking the fuck out of that on TikTok. Like,
Yo, you on that
yeah.
parasocial?
Yeah.
Parasocial. wave,
Almost every other TikTok I made was like something of like an interaction between Plu and Prod. And then eventually got to a point where like people started commenting. They're like, oh my God, like Plu's TikTok isn't even like about Plu. It's
just
about
a ship-
Prod.
It's a ship TikTok.
Yeah, it's a ship TikTok. And I was like, okay, I need to like tone it back. I think that was a lesson too. Like even like to this day, like I remember like towards the end of like last year, like 2023, posted a TikTok that like kind of had some like E-Dater vibes to it in like on the Valorant TikTok, and like a lot of people pissed off. They're like, oh, like stop leaning into this. I think people just like don't like that stuff. I think people like content that can speak for itself and doesn't rely on like yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit. I mean, I can definitely understand too, because there's time. It definitely is more interesting because a little more juicy. You're just like, oh, maybe it's someone that you already watch, and then like they're in this like ship sort of arc.
I think that's when it's okay. I think when people get tired of it is when they're like, oh my God, like every other stream is like dating stream, every other meme is about Riz. So I think people are just like kind of like tired of
it's
that.
like oversaturated.
Yeah, it's definitely oversaturated.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you were doing Plu, and then how did Red Bull reach out to you?
So I think Tiffy. So what Red Bull does is Red Bull Gaming. They sign creators to be like their like esports athletes kind of. So like Timmy is one of the Red Bull athletes. Tarik is one of them, and Tiffy is one of them.
An OG one for me was Nate Shot.
Oh really?
Back in the day,
He was a Red Bull athlete.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was
no way.
a Red Bull. Like it was like a big time in COD too, because it's like legitimizing that scene.
Yeah.
And that was one of my first esports that I consumed. So Nate Shot, and then later on in the melee, like Smash melee scene. Plup, Leffen, and then Amsa were all three that like got like, so you know, kind of just a little history of like Red Bull Gaming, I guess.
Yeah. So Red Bull signing like these creators, right? And at this time, like I had been working with Tiffy for like practically a year, and like I was doing really good work for Tiffy, I think. Like we always had like good communication. I was always like working really hard and everything. So then I think Red Bull probably just like asked Tiffy like, yo, who's your TikTok editor? Because at this point, like, yes, I was editing, and you know how I said that Tiffy was doing a lot of like the direction. Like at this point, I had also like, you know, like shown my strengths as like someone who could do like creative direction and like strategy as well. So then I think like they just reached out to Tiffy for like my contact info, and then I started working with them, and it was sick because like even with them, like they really like trusted my expertise, so I would give them a lot of like feedback on their video ideas and be like, okay, like this is how we should actually like frame it, and then like those videos ended up doing well. I remember like, do you know Geo Rainbow?
Oh, Rainbow.
Yeah, like the GeoGuessr guy.
Yeah.
I remember like at this time, I feel like he wasn't that big on like TikTok. I remember like Red Bull was working with him, and then he was doing this thing where he was teaching this other like big gaming guy from I think like the FGC. I forget his name. He was teaching that guy like some tips and tricks for like winning GeoGuessr. And I edited a TikTok of that, and then that one went like pretty viral. It got like 3 million views or something. And then like, yeah, that was my first time hearing about Rainbow. But then like after that, like I saw this guy everywhere.
Yeah, he did the absurd. The one that like sticks in my mind for Rainbow is like the New York Bagel one.
Which one's that?
Where the guy's just like gatekeeping bagel. He's like, yo, this is the best bagel I've ever had, but you guys will never know. And then Redbull just like literally tracked down like that
really?
specific bagel shop.
That's crazy. That guy's like fucking insane. I think he like retired right now, or he's like either he retired or he's taking a break, or he's like using his powers for good in some like less like online way where he's
he did start
like
or is part of like the GeoGuessr World Championships, because apparently that's the thing now. It's kind of crazy.
It's insane. But yeah, so Red Bull, I think they just reached out to me through Tiffy. And then with Tarik, that story is a bit more interesting. So with Tarik, it was like he was doing a stream, a VCT watch party of like the Valorant esports tournaments, and he's doing a co-stream with Nade Shot. And then him and Nate are just like talking, and like you know how like when Tarik does like co-streams, like his viewership like goes insane.
Yeah,
I think it's like I think he had like 60K viewers.
He literally has more stream
than the actual viewership stream. Yeah. So at this point, I think like he's like streaming to like 60,000 people, talking to Nate Shot, and he's like, yeah, like my Instagram isn't really like growing. I'm trying to grow my Instagram and my TikTok, but like I don't really like get it. And then Nate Shot's like, well, you need like a social media manager who not only understands like how to grow like a social channel on those like specifically on those platforms, but you also need someone who like understands your brand and understands like the game and like the audience. And he was like, that's true. And then like people in his chat who know me are like, oh, like you should reach out to Naru. Like, oh, like Naru grew like Plu, Naru grew Vanity, Naru grew this person. And like there's like 6 or 7 like unique people who are like telling Tarik about me in his chat. Like to this day, like I have screenshots of like all their usernames, because I think that was like so key for my career.
That's
like
kind of crazy.
I know. And it's like a couple of them I know. Like one of them was from my school. He was a follower of mine. I've never met him in person, but like I just followed him back like on social, because like I saw that he had like Waterloo in his bio, and I think same program as well. One of them was like a Twitch mod for my friend's boyfriend, who was like a tier 2 pro player.
Okay.
And like I used to like support that guy's stream, and then like I guess his mod recognized me, so then like we became friends. So it was like those two, and then like 5 randoms, or like all like in Tarik's chat like telling Tarik about me. Yeah, like actual randoms. And then I remember like while this was happening, like I wasn't watching, right? But I was getting like messages on my phone like, yo, Tarik's talking about you. I was like, what the fuck are you? Like, what does that even mean? And then, like someone sent me a clip where basically Tarik is like, okay, like Naru, who's that? Is that like a creator that I should like learn from? Or is that someone who can help me? And then the people in the chat are like, oh, he'll help you. He's like a social media manager. And then he's like, okay, I'll write that name down. And I was like, yo, that's fucking crazy. Bro, later that night, he reaches out to me and he's like, hey, Naru, and he's like I don't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, do you have time to chat, basically? And then he gave me his Discord, and then I think we had a call or something, or we just like had a really long conversation where we just like, he basically just interviewed me on my strategy. And this is like something no client of mine has ever done. Every client I've ever worked with has gone off the results and like past successes that I've had with other creators. This is the first time where he's like, okay, what would you do different with my channel? What do you think sets you apart from like other social media managers, blah, blah, blah. And like, luckily this was like around a time where I was kind of trying to like hone my strategy a bit better anyway. So I literally had like a Microsoft Word notepad thing open with just like a bunch of like ideas that I was like running through. So I was like referencing that as I'm like talking to him. I'm like, yeah, like, you know, these are some of the things that like I think about. And he was like, okay, like this is like really convincing, but there's one other person I'm talking to, and that guy's like also like pretty big in terms of like doing social media within esports. His name's like Nate Shanker, or like, he used to be on XSET, so he's XSET Nate. Then I think he was on M80, which I think he's still on as M80 Nate. But like that guy has like done like really big things too. And he was like more OG to like the gaming social media space than I was.
Okay. So he's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. At least like probably like a year longer than me. But yeah, so it was between me and him, and then he had both of us send like a trial edit, and then. And I actually didn't know at this time that I was competing with someone though. So like I just did this like out of my own like I guess like desire to like secure this client. Yeah. So I sent two trial edits actually. One was like more gameplay focused with like a little bit of story. I think like he was gonna get a clutch, and then like someone killed him, and then there's like it's like a 1v1. He like tells the kid, he's like, if you win this, I'll PayPal you $200, and then whatever. So I edited that, and then I edited something funny, and then they were both like pretty good videos. Yeah. And he was like, okay, like this is good. I'm convinced. So we started working together. And then yeah, dude, within 1 month, I think I like 3x his like viewership, and like his follower growth like started like blowing up too, like crazy. Like to this, I'm pretty sure in the less than 1 year that I worked with him, I like shot him up from like 30 something K to over 100K. Like I still don't think he's at 200K, and it's been over a year and a half since I stopped working with him.
Yeah, nice like that. Got the sauce.
What can I say? Sometimes I look at the channels of clients I stopped working with, and I'm like, damn, you like, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Gotta get you back. You know. What
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's like So from Tarik, what was the timeline now getting us Riot?
Okay, so you know how I said Tarik is April. You know how I said in March I was applying for full-time jobs.
Yep.
One of the jobs I applied to was the guard. And someone, what?
No, it's just rest in peace.
Oh, that's fine. But they still exist actually.
The guard?
I think they just
They're just
laid off like a fuck ton of
the story of
people.
like there's like 2 employees.
Yeah.
There's like just the one social media guy, like one guy
Something like that,
GM running the
probably.
team. You know. Yeah.
But yeah, so one of the companies I applied to is the guard, and my friend who's at the guard, I think he was like trying to help me by getting me like a reference to apply there. And then he was like, oh, by the way, I know someone who works at Riot, and I'm pretty sure they're like trying to hire for like the Valorant TikTok channel. So if you want, I can send you your resume there. And then I was like, that'd be fucking crazy. That'd be ideal. Because I basically like at this point, like probably like 40% of the viewership generated for Valorant videos on TikTok is probably like videos that I fucking edit myself anyway.
Yeah.
So I might as well do it for like the game account, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like March, and then nothing. Nobody reached out to me or anything. And then one day in like May or like June, I got an email from someone at Riot. And it's like, hey, like I think someone like passed along your resume. We'd like to interview you. And I was like I insta responded to it. I was okay. I was like, okay, let's do it. I was like, let's do it. Like responding to like every email in like 3 seconds because like I had to secure this. And I was like editing for Redbull at this time too, so I had like bought like a laptop and everything finally, so I could like edit from like different places and not just be stuck in my room. I was like, okay, this is like there's so much momentum right now, like working with like all these like big names, and like yeah, I was like, it's time to see where this goes.
Yeah. This is like every gamer kid's dream. It's
I
like,
know.
I want to work at Riot.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I honestly like. I never even considered it too. Like when I said I was applying for full-time jobs, like working at Riot was not even something that like had crossed my mind. I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't even know they did social media.
Yeah.
Well, I guess because they didn't have a TikTok account. There was a Valorant TikTok account that they posted like 3 videos to when the game came out, and that TikTok account was dormant until 2023. Before I joined, I guess like the like social team as it was before I joined them, they tried posting some videos, and they also started like repurposing some of their like YouTube videos that were like shot in 16:9 for like 9:16, and then like they had so they had like a few videos when I joined, like maybe like 20 I want to say, and then yeah.
It goes to show how new all the social media stuff
So
is in the
new.
first place.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've been playing League. I was playing League in like what season 3, season 4, which is what 2013, 2014, and like that's not there was no TikTok at that time. Like YouTube Shorts wasn't a thing. Instagram Reels still wasn't as big of a thing. It's still just Instagram. You just post
it was just
photos.
Vine.
Yeah, it would be Vine or like YouTube videos itself. YouTube videos. So like most of the social content you consume for League is on YouTube. You know.
Yeah.
And so like it definitely is a very new thing, even for such a big game company like Riot to explore.
Yeah. So that's basically that was like the career trajectory from being down and bad at Dan's birthday.
So I mean,
being
that interview with Riot obviously went well, but was it like immediately you do the interview and they're just like you're hired, or is it like there was like a gap in between, like you had to wait?
Just three separate calls. So the first call is more of like a resume walkthrough, and like they're just asking me about like my experiences, and like obviously like the stuff that I put on my resume was like the tip of the iceberg, right? Like it's just like stats. It's like, okay, I grew this creator by this much. I got this much viewership for this person, whatever. And then like I actually got to like go more in depth, talk about like how I did that during that first interview. Second interview was like, I think I was just being tested on like whether or not I was like truly like of like within like the Valorant space. So asking me like, I remember like one of the distinct questions was like, tell me a creator from Valorant that you like who you've never worked with, and like tell me why you like them. And I was like, well, that's a pretty interesting question. Like,
wow.
yeah, like, you know, like when the questions have like that much depth, like that's how you know like this company is like really like making
Locked in.
sure, yeah, they're like fucking like needing these like potential employees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then third interview was like, third interview, I'm not gonna lie, I was up all night, the whole night before the third call, because I was 99% sure that here's what's gonna happen. They're gonna be like, hey, so we really liked you, and you know we want to work with you, but because you're in Canada and you dropped out of school and you can't get a visa, we can't hire you. Actually, I was like so sad about it. I was like, even though the interviews went so well, I was like, I don't think I can like legally even pull off this job. I was like messaging this like one Brazilian friend I have. Don't ask me why I had a random Brazilian friend. They're also an editor. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get this. And they were like, no, just fucking believe. Just believe so hard that it happens. And I was like, okay.
Manifest that.
Yeah, manifest it. Yeah. And then so they called and they were like, yeah, we'd like to hire you. And I was like,
damn.
Yeah,
nice.
It was
that's
like
nice.
best feeling ever.
Yeah.
I'm holy.
I mean, you just basically hit the top of like the industry.
Yeah, that
like,
shit was crazy.
Yeah. So how do you, I mean, not to go into details of like everything that goes on, but like how do you find your own experience working there for almost 2 years now, right? How is it like working at like a company like Riot?
Dude, it's like it's so good. It's like okay, there's so much I can say about it that's like really good, but I think something that I always talk about when people ask me what it's like to work at Riot is like you're working at a company that's been successful for so long, right? And I think the reason why it's successful is like very evident because of the people who work there, because everyone who's just like hired for whatever role is like an expert in their craft. Everyone's communication is like so good, and it's just like it makes working like pretty easy, honestly, because it's like, how do I say this? Like my strengths are like social strategy and understanding the community and understanding the game and everything like that. Yeah. But my strengths are not like, how do I create like a good timeline for like a campaign being planned and like when the video needs to come out, when it needs to be edited by and stuff like that, right? So like those things, like those are all handled by producers. And it's like the way Riot teams are structured is so that everyone is working on what their strengths are, and then they'll hire people with diverse strengths so that the other things that I'm not strong in, someone else who is strong in those areas will be able to like do those things.
Ooh. So it's like everyone you're working around is just like the best of the best.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, and you just have like a team. And it's like that team environment is just like so good. And then you learn so much from people too. Because it's like now, like, you know, I remember one time I got a meeting invite, right? And like in the invite description, there was like something about like, okay, like here are some guardrails for this meeting. You know, I think it was like a retro. We were talking through like a past campaign, like what worked well, what didn't work well, and what we'll change for next time. I remember like one of the guardrails was like, you know, this is an opportunity to be honest and like open about everything, but this is not like an opportunity to like, you know, point fingers and try to like, you know, blah 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 blah. And like just like the way it was framed too, like here are some guardrails, and then like kind of laying them out. I was like, wow, that is so like clearly communicated, and just like I feel like everyone's just on the same page instantly, right? And like, you know, it's like little things like that like because everyone's an expert, you start picking up these things that they do that make them good at their job, and like over time you can implement that into your own. Because now it's like, now that we have like the League TikTok guy, TFT TikTok guy, and like I'm now organizing meetings too, and it's like I can implement these things that I've been learning from other people that like hopefully will make me a good leader and like help these people like get good at their job too, right?
Right.
It's like, yeah, it's just fucking crazy. Like that's why I love working at Riot, because of that.
Okay, you know, it makes a lot of sense. Like for they're like a monolith of the game. Like they are a staple of the gaming community and the gaming culture. They're setting some of it themselves.
Exactly. You know? Yeah. Everyone's like a trailblazer, basically. Like even in some ways, like I feel like me at Riot, like I don't want to like. I hope nobody from Riot sees this and thinks that like I'm like tooting my own horn really hard, but I do feel like I've been a trailblazer at Riot too. Yeah. Like with what I've done with the Valorant TikTok.
For sure, yeah, absolutely.
And it's just like, thank you. Yeah, thanks. So if you're from Riot and you disagree with me, like you have to.
They don't know who I am. I'm a nobody.
Yeah. No. But yeah, what was I saying? What was the last thing I said?
You're talking about like just the work culture and then how everyone's a trailblazer and you know,
yeah. So I think
gassing yourself.
Yeah, gassing myself. Yeah. So like, honestly, like sometimes I feel like because I was the first person at Riot to like be like a TikTok channel manager, it's like I kind of learned everything and like I kind of walked so that all these new people who are being hired for like the different game TikTok channels, I feel like I kind of walked so they could run.
You paved the way for them to do
Yeah,
what they do.
exactly. Like I kind of like set in stone like what the version 0 strategy looks like, you know?
That is actually like kind of surreal if you think about it.
I know.
Because like
For a big ass company and I'm
yeah.
just like this dude.
we were just down bad one.
Yeah.
Just drunk, sitting around just like, what do I do
with my
life?
life? Yeah. Yeah.
It's-
And then
it's
I
come a long way,
ends up
bro.
shaping like marketing strategy for one of the biggest companies
Yeah.
like in gaming, or
You've
maybe
come-
even in the
You've
world.
come a fucking long
Yeah,
way.
that's
I'm
fucking
so proud
insane.
of you, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. You know what's another like crazy thing is your IG that goes viral.
Yeah, yo, I have that by the way.
Yeah,
I brought it with me.
I see it pop up every once in a while on social media, and I
Yeah.
remember the first time it went like crazy viral. I was like, dude, it's just like, that's my boy. You know?
I know, it's
Yeah.
fucking
And then now it's like, yo, that's my roommate.
yeah, dude. It's funny because like I was at the club. I was at the club on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Some guy comes up to me. He's like, "Yo," I was like, "Okay, no." So I get into the club, right? And I'm with like my boys. I'm with Justin, Paul, and like some others. 2 minutes into the club, I lose them. Some guy comes up to me. I'm alone. He's like, "Yo," I'm like, "Yo." He's like, "I'm Gordon." I was like, "Okay, like, do I know you?" He was like, "You gave me the Riot gun, buddy, at AMPM." I was
At
like,
the club.
yeah, and this like we're not even at AMPM. Like this time we're at fucking Fifth Social Club too. It's like a different club. It's like,
yeah.
yo, I saw you at a different club before, and you gave me the Riot gun, buddy. I was like, that's pretty fucking.
Yeah,
funny.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
He was like, yeah, I told my friends about it, and then they told me that you're the University of Waterloo meme guy.
Yeah.
I was like. what the fuck do I even say? That shit was so funny. Like being recognized like in that way was pretty funny.
How do you feel about just being such a that meme goes viral? Like
Yeah.
it is huge. Like everyone sees it. You know what I'm saying? How
Yeah.
do you feel yourself? Like your face is just out there.
I think honestly, I think it'll make for like good dad lore one day. Like that's how I see it.
They
I'm
see
just
a
like,
kid down and just like I was one of the biggest memes of the internet.
yeah, or like one day my kid will show me a meme. I'll be like, I know a thing or two about memes.
And then you show him that meme. He's like, yo, that's my dad.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't even know it's you.
Yeah. Nah, it's crazy though, cause like it's so viral that if you go on Google Images and you search in like no keywords about me or Waterloo, just engineering meme, like it'll be somewhere within like the first like 3 to like 5 like
Yeah.
rows of like results.
Yeah.
Which is like for it to be that big is just like kind of fucking
Yeah.
insane.
What was the story behind the two ideas? Because it's just absurd.
Okay,
You know?
so the story is like so first of all, the order is reversed. It just looks funnier that way. So like that's how I originally framed it when I posted it.
Yeah.
But like the story is like one day I was at my friend's birthday, right? And we were like his girlfriend has like a gigantic backyard because they live like super far up north.
Yeah.
Where I guess the properties are just huge. So we did like a camping thing in her backyard. And I wasn't like super familiar with her. And I just wanted to like break the ice. And I was like fucking twiddling my thumbs, looking through my wallet, and I saw the 2 IDs. I was like, that's kind of funny. And I showed it to her, like as like, you know, like, oh, isn't this kind of funny? And she just fucking like died of laughter. And she like her like jaw literally like dropped too. And then I was like, maybe this is funny enough to like tweet. So I tweeted it, and then it went viral like within like an hour. Like,
yeah.
and I was like, oh shit, like this is kind of a banger, right? And then after like 6 months, some other account posted it, and then it went even more viral.
Yeah.
And then the time it got posted by that account, I guess like since I was like a meme account, other meme accounts started posting it too. So then it's like it's just getting posted everywhere.
Yeah,
And then from
circulates,
from that point on, it just started like circulating. Like once in a while, like
It just
someone will
bubbles
just
again.
use it. Yeah. And it's like it's at a point now where it's like almost a meme template too, because like I've seen like with JJK, like it showed like Yuta in the movie where he was like, you know, new to like jujutsu.
Oh, yeah,
and he's
yeah.
like innocent, fresh, and
Oh,
everything. And then it shows Yuta at the end of this is like a spoiler, I guess. Sorry, but it shows Yuta at the end of season 2, and now he's like a bit more like seasoned. He has like dark, like the love is like sucked out of his like face
He's
and
seen some
everything.
shit.
Yeah, he's seen some shit. And like I remember, I was just like. Someone just sent me a meme where it's like Yuta before, Yuta after, and you swipe to the next photo, and the photo
And
set,
it's
and it's my fucking student ID. I'm like, wait, that's crazy. Like now, and like, yeah, I'm just being used to like, I guess,
Yeah.
I am the portrayal of glow down.
It's so funny how many layers there is, at least like in my eyes, for that meme, because it's like, okay, I've known you personally just as a friend
Yeah.
for so long, and then you see the meme and it's like Waterloo Engineering, and then it's like, okay, yeah, I remember when you went to school, you went for Waterloo Engineering, but then you dropped out.
Yeah.
And then we probably got closer over that period where right after that we're kind of just fucking around all summer because there's nothing else to do. You know what I'm saying? And then we kind of get closer. We have this conversation about like bringing freelance, like how to like break into the creative industry, what does it take, the mentality and things like that. And then now it's like come full circle where it's like now you just have a crazy meme of like your face on a student ID of a school you went to that you no longer like go to that school and you dropped out to do a career in the creative space.
It's actually so full circle. It's insane. Even like like things still come full circle to this day because like I said, right, the reason why I started applying for jobs is because I saw Changvin got a job at Energy and I was like, wait, why don't I have a career? And then that like lit a fire under my ass to make me want to start like having like an actual career. And now I fucking work with Chang. You know how I just told you that I'm leading meetings? The meetings are me and Changvin because he's the guy who runs the League TikTok.
Oh shit.
So it's like how really full circle is that? It's like bro, like it's fucking crazy. Like I don't know, life is just so full of surprises.
Right.
And like sometimes like I think about like I wonder what the next adventure is, you know? Like right now is like I'm starting the social agency stuff so I can continue working with Riot. And you know, there's like whatever, I'll hire people, I'll scale, I'll start working maybe in like different industries too. But then also I'm like, that's kind of like a linear career, like a linear adventure where it's like, I started with like the dropping out, the career growth and everything. Next is like social agency. But sometimes I'm like, what if I just did it again, where I just completely like uproot myself, go to a different industry and just like start new and do something crazy again. Like what if I just became a tattoo artist or something, you know?
That is, actually now that like triggered a core memory of, I think one of the first times I even had like, cause the way we met, like I'm going back to the beginning. It was right when Valorant came out, which is like 2020, like end of that summer and beginning of the summer because of beta. Yeah. And then our mutual friend Ethan Lowe. We went to Waterloo, and that's how you guys met. It was like, like, because I played CS with Ethan back in high school, and then he played CS with you guys in Waterloo. And he was like, like, these guys play CS with, let's play Valorant together. And then
is that how we met?
Yeah. And then, so we gamed together in
That's
Valorant.
Crazy.
Like we were just stacking Valorant, and then we're playing like 10 mans for a very long time.
That's insane.
And then we never actually met because it was still COVID, you know. And then another friend of ours, Drew, which is like, let's go link Armand at his place. That's insane, and then so we seshed up, you know.
Yeah, in my backyard. Dude, I remember.
At your old high school.
Oh yeah.
In front of that bench.
The fucking picnic tables. I probably told you guys. I was like, they added these tables the year after we left.
Yeah. And then we were flipping through your sketchbook.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, like you love to draw, and then so we're looking, and you want us to be tattoo artists, so looking through your sketches, and then from there it's just like now we're roommates.
I know. It's funny because last night I was looking at my old Facebook conversations with Dan. Because I was actually trying to find like when, like if there was ever like a message where it was like, oh, my boy Henry's gonna come, and I was like, oh, maybe that's like how we met for the first time. So I was going through my conversation with Dan, and I just like found these messages where I was like ranting to Dan. I was like, I don't draw enough. All I do is game. I'm kind of a waste man. And then Dan's like, I spent 60% of my time playing League. I was like, wait, what the fuck? This is not the Dan I know. It's like Dan from 4 years ago.
We've grown a lot. Gamer. We've grown a lot for sure.
Yeah.
So like, you kind of talking about how you want to start a social media agency and things like that. What other sort of dream projects do you have, like cooking up, or like things you want to do, whether it be tattoo artists? Like that,
It's kind of like a half-baked idea, but I think something I want to do is I want to make like a course or something, not to sell, but just like probably for free, on like social media literacy, because I feel like the world of social media is getting to a point where I think like so much of social media is so fake but so believable that it like there's like a separation for people, like some people like are like deluded, and like they think that social media is reality, and like I want to create like social media literacy courses to like just help people like differentiate and like understand, like, I think there's pros and cons to social media, and I think just like understanding like the relationship and stuff is like something I want to like teach people about.
Oh wow, that's really interesting. You know what, it's interesting because we kind of grew up in an age right when social media platforms were created, like at their genesis, but we weren't using them in our day-to-days, right?
Mm.
Where we didn't even have like full-time or access to smartphones right when we were like elementary school kind of
Yeah.
thing. And then iPhones were kind of
Yeah.
a big thing. And then right when we got to high school is when everything started exploding.
Yeah.
You know, like YouTube became a really big thing. Like the idea of like starting a career in social media or being a YouTuber, being an esports player, now it's possible. Like the dream, like people have done it or have proven that it's something that you can be successful in or make a career out of. Where like when in our formative years of life, we're finally viewing people. Okay, dude, I don't. Okay, this is also just an aside. I don't know if people have noticed. We've been using different mics for the past
Every
4
episode?
episodes. Yeah,
Oh.
I'm like using a different mic. I guess.
What is?
No, the little hinge thing just like unscrewed off. It's okay. It still works. Yeah. You just gotta give our episode a like. You know, like just help us buy a new mic thing.
Any big venture capitalist firms stop investing in esports orgs and start
invest
investing in
our,
podcasts.
Our specific podcast too, and lab. You know
And
what I'm
lab,
saying? Yeah. Yeah. So I was talking about like in high school where it started just becoming like an actual reality, and social media was like taking off and things like that. So by the time we graduated, it was like really a thing. You know? Even TikTok was like just
You went
starting
to
out.
school with someone who was like, I would say like one of the OG social media influencers, or not like OG, but like Vine, Fruity Poppin'.
Oh yeah. Instagram and Vine.
Oh, that was Instagram. and
Yeah.
Vine.
Fruity Poppin'. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that era of like okay, this is like my analogy. Like when it comes to social media fame, I feel like I'm like a high school freshman, and those are like the high school seniors because they were like the generation, I guess, that like became viral like before mine.
Yeah. Although, what do you think? I feel like going viral, and going for social media in high school is like kind of fucked.
Kind of fucks with you.
I feel like it was a lot better to like blow up or go viral when you
Yeah.
like a little bit older and more mature.
Yeah.
Compared to like in high school, because I feel like it really affects your mental and your life.
100%. Your understanding of like I said, understanding of reality too.
Yeah, seeing it firsthand was like kind of. I mean, I didn't really think about it too much at the time. I was so focused on myself. But like looking back at it, it was just like I kind of feel bad. Like obviously it's a good thing in terms of like you made some sort of career where like you gain a lot of monetary gains from that specific period of life. But like I think of it a lot where like these kids are like, I want to go viral. I want to go viral right now. Like I want to be famous. But it's like, yo, I feel like it's way better to build a foundation and do things the right way first. And then as you grow and mature as a person, you figure out, you know, the right way to do things. And there's not necessarily like a concrete like right way to do things, but I'm talking about like having a good support system around you, you know, having people around you that will tell you whether you're right or wrong. Like they'll call you out for shit. And just being emotionally mature. So like, because you see these kids are like, and this is like celebrity, like child celebrities and things like that. They just go off the rails because you just gain too much fame too early. I think people also develop like an addiction to fame, and I think it's very easy to like compromise on things if your morals aren't grounded enough, and if your identity isn't grounded enough. I think those are two things that are very easy to compromise, like who you are and what you stand for, just for social media fame, especially when people who have tasted how much money you can make off of it and what like the dopamine hit of like all that popularity feels like, and then all of a sudden they're like kind of in a downturn because they're becoming less and less relevant. And I think that's like where some people reach a point where they're like, fuck, like I want to taste that again, but I don't have anything that'll like bring that to me unless I do like this thing or that thing. And those two things might be things that like, you know, it just like forces them to compromise their morality or like just fundamentally isn't who they are. For sure. I guess like the question I always ask people that come on the pod, and I feel like you have a lot of good insight on this, and it's just like for the people who want to break in, who want to be social media editors, who want to do what you do, you know, who want to get a full-time job in esports or, you know, edit, what kind of advice do you have for them to like get into it? I would say you have like one of the biggest things that you have to like overcome is like your ego. I think you have to just like you have to accept like being shit in so many different things, because I think being a creative is like wearing a lot of hats, and you don't get to wear a lot of hats unless you're like really shit at a lot of things at first, or like it forces you to accept that. And I think just like being consistent and being dedicated and just like getting your reps in is like
That's how you get good. And then
okay.
like I think that's like something I feel like when Ethan was like releasing music, it was like almost like crystal clear to me that he would become successful because he wasn't just like, I'm gonna make a song, I'm gonna see if it goes viral, I'm gonna make a song, I'm gonna see if it goes viral. He built up like an entire like catalog of music and then refined and kept refining until I think it was good enough where like he just knew that it was gonna be big, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like, I think that that's like just something you have to go through as a creative. Like you really just have to put in the time and the work, and like just understand, you know.
I feel like kind of the sentiment, or it's even funny. It's like sometimes we're in a game, like we're literally in Valorant, and the kids just like, I want to work at Valorant, like like hire me, or like give me an interview or put me through. What do you think, like for those guys? What do you usually say? Like, what do you think about like those sort of people? Because obviously, like in my eyes, they're like they just want like an easy way in.
Yeah.
Just like want someone. I mean, this is how the world works. Sometimes you just know a guy and they'll get you through, But like the actual have like to work at it with the best of the best, or like to have even the opportunity to interview with like a company like Riot. I feel like you do have to put in a lot of time, and you see it now, their process. You have to put a lot of time and work, and you have to like prove to them in the industry that you're valuable and you have what it takes, and things like that. So like, what kind of advice do you have for the kids like that?
I think, it's so hard, dude. Cause like I have friends that are like, just graduating from like literal degrees that are catered towards the game industry, whether it's like motion capture at like, like some university that has like a huge budget for like all the gear that you would need to become an expert. Like even those people like will still be stressed. They'll be like, yeah, I don't know if I can get like a job at my dream company, like a company like Riot. Cause I think there's a lot of talent for sure, and there's just not enough jobs for all the talent.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of unfortunate. So I think if your dream is to work at Riot, sometimes it's helpful to like just have more dreams.
Dream. The reality.
Yeah. Honestly, it's just like, that is
Yeah.
like, that's just my take. And like, I think the reason why I have this take too is because like, even with university, right? It's like, think about how many people are like, oh, my dream is to get into like, I don't know, an Ivy League school, but they just don't.
Right.
It's like, but then they'll still have like great careers. It's like, that's the thing, is like, you don't have like your fulfillment in life should not come from like reaching that goal of like, oh my God, I finally got a job at Riot. Or, oh my God, I finally got accepted into my dream university. It's more about just like the day to day, It's like,
yeah, no, I agree. I feel like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we get into this industry because we want to reach the very top. But sometimes it's like that's just not the reality for everyone. Like you do have to have a little bit of luck, but what really gets you to the top is that like you've built a hard fundamental base of hard work, and you're doing it the right way, and then that luck and your hard work meets at the same time, and then you blow up. Or like you get a crazy opportunity. So it's like, obviously you work hard and you don't get luck, you're not gonna make it. But you can also get lucky and not like work hard, and then you're also gonna drop the ball on that. So it's good to
there's so much luck at play, dude. Like even for me, right? Like if Riot was starting their let's say Riot was starting their TikTok channel 7 months before they actually did, okay? Then now who were my big clients that I helped grow? What was this like big playbook of strategy that I developed? I might not even have all that.
Have any of it.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Let's say Riot was hiring for their TikTok manager position 7 months after the time where they actually did it. Then there might be like 3 or 4 other people who have like the same skill sets as me, but maybe they're like LA local, so they can come into the office and do shoots like on a whim whenever. Or let's say they're university graduates, so it's just like proven. Or let's say they have like better references and they actually know people on the right marketing team. So it's like, dude, there's so much luck at play. Like I feel like it's really like right place, right time for a lot of the things that end up working out the way they do, which is why it's like, I think it's okay to just like find what makes you happy that you can commit to on like a regular basis and just see what comes of that.
Man, that was a fucking great conversation, my guy. Appreciate you coming on. I'll see you later because we live together.
Can you let me hope?
So thank you guys for listening. I hope you learned a lot from this podcast. I learned a lot, and it was a really great conversation, I feel like. So, what do they say? Like and subscribe. I've never said it once. I feel like it's so cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see you on the next episode, baby.
Yes, sir.